informative day. Thank you very, very much for coming. It's been, I hope, a really positive event. I've certainly found it really positive, and I've actually learned a lot of stuff, and I hope you all have too. And I hope that you leave today wanting to continue to grow the fight in your areas and to grow support against the People's Assembly. So thank you very much for coming. And we are now at our final plenary where we've got some excellent speakers and we can announce some actions that we'd like to take going forward from this. So with no further ado, I would like to invite Josie Long to speak. She's an excellent comedian and a friend of mine, and I'm very excited to hear what she has to say.
So yeah, I'm a comedian, is the first thing that I should say, and as a result of that, speaking of things like this, I kind of feel like at the start I need to say that you are probably a lot better informed than I am, and I sort of come at this from a perspective of like, I hope this is helpful in some way, but it's such a privilege and a pleasure to get to come and speak today. And what I thought I would talk about is, it's a little bit incoherent on the page, and so it might be a bit incoherent out of the mouth. But I hope, I sort of want to talk about optimism and about aggressive optimism and how that's kind of useful going forward. And just a little bit of background is that I am from Bromley, South East London, and that's the most enthusiastic reception Bromley's ever got in and I kind of want to counteract sort of what I felt growing up in some parts of South East London, which is kind of nihilism or like inherited pessimistic Toryism that you don't even realise is being ingrained into you growing up in some of the suburbs. It's all this case of like, you don't understand the real world, you don't know the way of the world, what use is it going to do, you can't change anything, things like that. And I kind of think what going into kind of the future, people who care could try and remember is that, firstly, you can counteract what the Conservatives are doing in a number of good, helpful ways that begin with you and start internally with you. And the first one, I suppose, is that their vision. I often think about the Conservative vision of the future and what this Conservative government has had to offer. And every part of what I see they're doing is pessimistic. It's all about obviously cutting, it's about destroying, it's about everything is going down the pan. We're the only ones to save it. Their whole narrative is so negative and reductive. And the first thing that we have as people who oppose austerity and oppose that is this a whole abundance of ideas and enthusiasm and optimism for the future. We're able to say, do you know what, the future might well belong to us, and we're able to, and our future is a beautiful, colourful, imaginative, fantastic future, not this bitter monetary one that you're planning out. Secondly, what I would say with that is a lot of what their policies are so destructive, and we can focus on constructive things. We can focus on what can we build, what can we make. And I know that in a lot of terms what they have is all the money and the power and the media influence, but that doesn't mean that we are without power ourselves to make and create and build things and start things, even if that means starting small. I'd also say that creativity is so incredibly important. Being able to think critically and creatively at all times is so helpful, because there are values in this world that go far beyond monetary values, but our government at the moment fails to understand or appreciate this. Our government at the moment is so focused on the markets, on profit, that they don't seem to understand that all of these other things are far more important. Common humanity, creativity, all kinds of things like that. These things are free, and anyone can have them, anyone can use them, anyone can build them. So in actual fact, we have this massive arsenal. And I hope that isn't too esoteric and ridiculous a thing to say, but there are a lot of things that we have that they don't understand, that we can use. And the good thing is those things are joyful and abundant. And again, that sounds a bit like preaching, so I hope that isn't too crazy. Oh yeah, this is an example of it. Me and my friend set up a charity called Arts Emergency, and there are two of us that run it, and it's gone in the past 3 years from being an idea in our heads to being an official charity with a board, with enough income to support a full-time person. And what we do is we mentor young people who wish to study arts, but who are from the sort of background where no one's been to university, or if they've not got family support or anything like that. And we tell them that they are allowed to have the life they want, that they're allowed to study for its own sake, that education isn't a marketable commodity, and that art belongs to everyone and things like that. And what's been really exciting about our charity is it's not needed a lot of money, it's needed enthusiasm. We have all these people who've trained as mentors. We have 700 people in the network on call to those young people that we're mentoring. None of that has cost a penny. Our charity spent £300 in the first 2 years doing what we do. So there are ways to organise and influence people and help people to live better lives that do not involve money or needing to fundraise. Oh yeah, audacity, this is a big thing. The thing that I have most in common with David Cameron is that I am massively entitled, and I have a massive sense that my life should be brilliant, that I should have a great time of it. I have this like real arrogance or entitlement or whatever it is that I carry around with me, right? This is the arrogance that led David Cameron, who didn't win an election, to walk in and behave like he won a landslide and do whatever the hell he wants, to take our public services and be like, bad luck, pros, it belongs to me and my mates, ha ha, right? But we can all take on that level of arrogance, entitlement, audacity, but use it for good. What I would say is, be a prick, but be a prick on the side of truth and righteousness. Also, thank you. The other thing I would say is, in your daily life, don't be ashamed of what you believe and think and feel. It's so hard because you come up against their narrative, their lies, and this kind of, like I say, received pessimistic Toryism everywhere. Even people who in their hearts agree with you would rather argue with you and shout you down sometimes, just because that's what they're programmed to do for some reason. And what I would say is, in your daily life, everywhere you go, there are ways to counter these things with joy and deftness, and without bringing yourself down and feeling crushed, and it was worthwhile doing it. You can change people's minds all the time, everywhere you go, and it is worthwhile. So firstly, obviously, challenge the austerity narrative because it's a lie. Challenge the conservative narrative, all of these lies about immigration, about joblessness, about all things like that. Do it because it's a power that you have to defy it everywhere you go, with everyone that you meet. See what you can make happen, right? Small is worthwhile too. If you can change the mind or influence the life for the better of one person that you know, that is a wonderful, helpful thing, and don't discredit it. Influence fractals. This is this idea that I've had. I'm sure I wasn't the first person to have it, but everything you do goes out and influences, and then that goes out and influences, and then that goes out and influences. And you just don't know the power that your actions and that your words and that your thoughts, if you actually kind of bring them into your life, will have for good and for change. So don't think that even you stopping someone on the street who's abusing somebody might not be a really, really worthwhile thing to do. Other people will see that, other people will take courage and take heart from it. Even just social media, or even just going on Facebook and saying, this is not helpful, this is not true, to somebody who you see that you know from school who's being racist, or that you know from school who's being incredibly prejudiced against people without jobs. Something like that. I think it's always worthwhile just making a stand and making a point. So also, I would say as well, what's tricky being on the left is we all care so much, I think, and we all want people to do the right thing, and so quite often there's this thing of being suspicious of one another and of disliking when people are hypocrites. But what I would say is there's only one type of person, and that is hypocrites, massive hypocrites. We're all going to be massive hypocrites. I don't think that matters totally, as long as you keep trying to check it and to sort it out. I think hypocrites can be very helpful, and I think finding out somebody has contradicted themselves, finding out somebody has done something that you don't hold to be morally perfect, isn't necessarily a reason to totally discredit them or to think that they are useless or unhelpful in the future. This is just from Twitter. I know that's not real life, but something happened the other day which made me really excited, because quite often I'm very angry, and quite often I get attacked on social media because I'm a woman and because I'm a mad lefty. And sometimes I'll just respond or be like, fuck off, or be like, someone has a crush on me, haha, and that's fun. But if you can bear not to retaliate with other people's cruelty, straight away with cruelty, sometimes you can get absolutely mind-blowing results, right? I hope this is worth it as an anecdote just to finish. I was on Twitter and someone was attacking me for my political beliefs and calling me naive and calling me stupid, which is the classic thing to do. What I would say to counter that straight away is these people don't know anything more about the future and the world than you do. They're just deciding that it's too much effort to try and make something change or make something happen. If you look historically, all the time the left has been ahead of the curve and it's been right. So we're probably right and ahead of the curve. I got attacked by somebody on Twitter and I said to them, look, if you really want to understand what I'm doing, there's a book called The Spirit Level, which if you haven't read it, I would definitely recommend it. It's so beautiful and simple, and it basically says the more equal a society is, the better a society is for everyone. And to my surprise, this person has been really attacking me when, all right, fine, you're on, I'll go and read it. And he ordered it online. And then he wrote back to me in a week, he was like, I've ordered it online, it's coming tomorrow, it better be good. That's their accent, I assume. And then 3 days later, they said it's come, I've started reading it. Then a week later, they got in touch and said, look, I've read that book, and I'm really sorry. I was attacking you, and I was wrong. I haven't completely changed my opinions, but this has opened my eyes, and I really think differently about a lot of things now. And I was like, holy shit, I've won the internet! That never happened. But what I think is, it's always worth offering people something that they can read, something that they can do. It's always worth trying to be positive. Like there's a book called The Spirit Level. Daniel Dorling is this incredible social geographer who's written a really great book about injustice, a really great book called So You Think You Know Britain. Obviously there's the False Economy website. All of these things are such great resources that you can say, okay, I'm not perfect, I'm not a massive resource, but these things I'll have a look. And the last thing I wanted to say, so there's this guy called Kenny Whitmore who was a member of the Black Panther Party, and he was put in prison for a murder that he didn't commit, and he's been in solitary confinement for 33 years, I think, and he's an incredible human being. And the other year, I got very heavily involved, I got involved in the student movement, and I was really, really politicised by all the stuff that was happening, and really obviously for the first time engaging in kind of politics. And I felt so crushed because UK Uncut, who are a group that I've supported for a long time and been part of, were really slandered on the news, and I didn't know how to keep going. And I wrote to him and I was like, I don't know how to do this. I can't pick myself up and start again every single time, and we've been crushed. And I'm so angry, I don't know what to do about it. And he wrote back to me and he said, firstly, you never start them all over again, right? Even when you feel like you're at your lowest ebb, you've always got all the things that you've experienced and the contacts that you've built up and the knowledge that you've built up. You're just standing up again and you can do it, right? And then he said, try and turn all your anger into positive action. You can do it. And I would say, you're allowed to be angry at what the Conservatives are doing because it's a fucking disgrace and it's completely wrong what they're doing in all aspects of their policy. It's insane. It's like a multiple assault on everything that I hold dear. But keep your anger and then use it to make things and do things, and use it to show that we are people with senses of humour, with senses of decency, with so much joy and potential in our lives too, because that's the kind of future that we want to start making, start building. I hope this has been coherent, and thank you very much for having me.